The first scent drifts through Balmoral's back stairs at 5:42, steam sweet, marrow rich, an aroma that makes footmen swap quizzical glances before dawn bell. 5 minutes later the king himself emerges from the service door, cheeks ghost pale from overnight chemo tremors, yet eyes alive with mischief. He carries a copper tray of bone-shaped biscuits flecked with oats and parsley, still crackling as trapped air escapes the cooling dough. Behind him trots Snuff, a 6-month-old Lagotto Romagnolo whose coat resembles freshly frothed cappuccino. Snuff sneezes at the Highland chill, Charles laughs, a sound castle walls have not heard since coronation rehearsals ended. 82 miles south, breakfast show producers slap fresh headlines onto running orders, new book ties Andrew to Maxwell affair, palace reeling. In London's grey dawn viewers will soon sip supermarket coffee over lurid pull quotes of sauna trysts, private jet manifestos, offshore transfers. They will not yet know that Scotland's royal ovens have already launched a counteroffensive, Balmoral beasties, dog treats hand-baked by monarch and master chef, each packet bearing the eco-green seal of the royal household and a QR code linking to veterinary charities. By the time Andrew's latest scandal saturates Twitter, #Beasties4Beagles trends with photos of labradoodles wearing miniature crowns of shortbread crumbs. This is no accidental collision. Courtiers confirm Charles fast-tracked the product reveal precisely because Andrew's name had reinfected headlines. The sovereign's communications secretary called it a proportional, pastoral pivot. Translation: if the Yorks spray mud again, the king will spray flour and let the nation choose what sticks to memory. Cynical? Perhaps. Effective? The sales ledger pings every 6 seconds. Balmoral's online shop crashes twice before IT goats the bandwidth. Green shoots in granite walls. Charles is not new to artisan ventures. Remember Duchy Originals oatcakes, Highgrove elderflower cordial, Prince's Trust fire pit sculptures. But dog biscuits forged under a cancer cloud. That's fresh territory even for a monarch famed for turning hedgerow cuttings into multi-million-pound organics. The idea germinated during a sleepless February night in Clarence House, 3 days after oncologists delivered staging numbers. Royal aides found him roaming the royal mews before sunrise, stroking the muzzle of a carriage horse retired on medical advice, an equine mirror to his own prognosis. Charles mumbled that everyone who serves deserves comfort food, why not the 4-legged foot soldiers first? 2 months later, after a chemo round so brutal his valet said the king looked waxen as a church candle, Charles took refuge in Balmoral's kitchens and summoned the head chef, create a treat that could pass muster with working dogs of the Argyll estates yet remain wholesome enough for Corgi Palace divas. They settled on 4 core ingredients: wholemeal flour, free-range eggs, chicken stock brewed from estate birds, and a pinch of Scottish sea kelp for micronutrients. Each batch is kneaded in a copper bowl gifted to Queen Victoria. Snuff provides quality control. If the pup licks paws after, too much salt; if he yawns, up the stock; if he barks twice, perfect. Tweed, not silk. Biscuits alone do not spin narrative gold. Enter the accessory line: Balmoral tweed leads, collars, treat pouches. The fabric's pedigree runs back to the 1850s, when Prince Albert designed tartan #GC 284 for stalking parties. Charles resurrects the pattern, weaves it with recycled wool and plant-dyed greens, then stitches each collar with a discreet cipher C3R in hemp thread dyed bracken brown. Prices: £48 to £75, steep but not obscene, pitched at the same demographic that already buys barber wax for spaniels. Critics howl elitist frippery, yet within 48 hours the first production run sells out. Pre-orders flood from Singapore, Dallas, and Sao Paulo. DHL vans queue like coronation carriages outside the estate service gate. The timing, pure Buckingham judo. Why unveil now? Because entitled, "The Rise and Fall of the Yorks," just detonated across Fleet Street with new depositions, including allegations Andrew belittled staff, mocked the Princess of Wales's middle-class moisturizer, and courted Ghislaine Maxwell long before Epstein rewired polite disgust. Advance copies circulated among journalists. Palace risk teams saw the hurricane coming. Rather than cloak the castle in stoic silence, Charles chose judo, absorb the attack's momentum and flip public discourse onto safer ground: puppies, biscuits, tartan law. The result: breakfast shows split their airtime, half for Andrew's alleged sleaze, half for dogs nibbling royal treats. Twitter feeds oscillate from revulsion to in nanoseconds. Crisis dilution achieved. Behind the biscuit, soft power alchemy. Yet there's deeper calculus. Every biscuit packet carries a scratch code delivering a £1 microdonation to Dogs Trust, or Medical Detection Dogs, the charity training canines to sniff cancers like the one gnawing the king. Gift aid UPS the figure. Conservative MPs who bristle at royal revenue streams can't easily slam philanthropic micropayments. Environmentalists note the compostable wrappers. Guardian columnists grudgingly praise supply chain transparency. Even Republican hardliners concede it's preferable to gold-plated thrones. Internally, the palace treasury hopes the venture neutralizes critiques of duchy tax advantages. Revenue forecast: £1.8 million net annually if international licensing proceeds. Not Windsor roof repair money, but enough to plaster holes in youth hostels and add kennels to rehabilitation prisons. Quiet wins Charles intends to trumpet every quarter. Snuff, the mascot with a mission. The Lagotto's backstory becomes central branding fodder. Gifted by an Italian truffle hunter whose family lost vineyards to climate change, Snuff embodies Charles's twin obsessions: biodiversity and carbon ethics. Press kits describe him as an ambassador for regenerative agriculture, since Lagotti find fungi essential for soil health. Amused journalists circulate memes of Snuff wearing monarch-sized gardening gloves. Palace social team leans in, posts a reel of the dog-sniffing chanterelles near the estate bothy. 10 million views. Suddenly toddlers nationwide demand a Snuff instead of a Labradoodle. Countercurrents and courtroom clouds. Meanwhile, Andrew's legal quagmire thickens. American attorneys seek depositions for civil suits. The Duke's staff shrinks, 2 grooms made redundant. Royal Lodge roof leaks into the music room. Fergie launches another children's novel promo to fund repairs. William monitors spreadsheets. Quotes for re-roofing are now 8 million. Council tax lapsed. Bailiffs sniff. Charles' biscuit profits will not bail out that rot. Inside Privy Council charters, discussions intensify: force lease buyout, or wait for optics to worsen. Royal lawyers tap civil procedure handbooks. The abdication murmur. Charles' health shadows everything. Courtiers whisper succession contingency plans. If treatments fail, will William inherit both the throne and a half-baked dog brand? Palace economists, already modelling King William's first fiscal year, assume Balmoral beasties will fold into Duchy home farm portfolio. Online wags imagine earth-shot edibles, carbon-negative kibble. Catherine, insiders say, has proposed an early childhood tie-in, biscuit packaging featuring mindfulness prompts for kids to read aloud while feeding pets. The brand could outlive Charles, baking legacy into pantry shelves worldwide. 1 week later, data and diplomacy. 7 days post-launch, 150,000 packets sold, £110,000 donated. Italian ambassador tweets gratitude for publicizing Lagotto heritage. Biden's dogs receive sample crates delivered via RAF diplomatic pouch. The White House posts commander crunching a bone labeled special relationship. Downing Street tweets a corgi photo. Critics accuse political piggybacking. Andrew's book-related fiasco, by contrast, languishes. Headlines fade behind canine-infused feel-good. Public polling. 63% trust Charles more than before, 7% say biscuits trivialize monarchy, 30% still undecided. Palace wins the news cycle. Epilogue, flower-dusted reprieve. In Balmoral's fading daylight, Charles leads snuff past granite cairns built by Queen Victoria. The dog snuffles at moss, the king pauses, catching his breath in bracken-scented air. Tomorrow oncologists will feed chemicals into veins, tomorrow tabloids may regurgitate Andrew anew. But tonight the estate kitchens hum with another batch, and nurses in London cancer wards tell patients the monarch's treats fund therapy dogs visiting chemo suites. A gentle pivot. Maybe. A cynical distraction. Some will insist. Yet for those who open each packet, savoring the kind of small kindness that crumbles between fingers, royal relevance suddenly tastes surprisingly tangible. And for the House of Windsor, that flavor matters more than any gilded speech ever could.